So you've gone through the assessment process and you've said yes. This module is all about how to prepare for the trip in advance. As we said again, we want to set you up for success, right? And first and foremost is one of the most ubiquitous concepts in the world of psychedelics, set and setting.
Yes, and I've heard some really great definitions of set and setting, and that set being the internal state, what happens inside of you. So your intention, do you feel prepared? How are you feeling that day, right? And then setting being what happens outside of you, around you, in your surroundings. So your location, do you feel safe with the person that is going to trip sit for you? Are you at risk of having the pool guy come in the middle of your journey and interrupt the space and the journey? So this module is about preparing both you and the participant for the mental and environmental factors of the trip.
And first and foremost, as always, is do your homework.
Do your homework.
Do your homework.
Just do your homework.
You know, we are in what's being called this psychedelic renaissance, and we know a lot of old school, like psychedelic people are just like, just take the damn substance already, right? And go on the journey.
Renegades.
Right? But the reality of it is that we've grown up a lot, you know, as a culture around psychedelic use and our understandings of everything from neurobiology to mental health, you know, and the role that psychedelics can play in all of that. Yeah, to have really the best possible journey, it really pays to do your homework and understand the full potentiality and negative possibilities of a psychedelic journey.
And we've learned from the experiences of people in the past. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We have the trip reports, we have the psychedelic 60s, and now, like Tony says, we've grown up a little bit. So the things to look at when we do our homework as responsible psychonauts is we want to know about the specific substance that they will be taking. You know, the proper dose for the kind of journey that they're looking for, the typical duration of that medicine. You want to make sure that the substance is sourced from a clean and trusted source. You can look at trip reports and learn about what's considered normal with this psychedelic versus not. Also important to check is if this person has any allergies or any pre-existing conditions that might affect them during this trip. So allergies are they allergic to bee stings? Do they have a pre-existing condition like asthma that in the middle of the journey, if they have an asthma attack, you as a trip sitter are going to need to know where to get their inhaler from. And then also knowing the substance that they're using, we need to know what kinds of interactions the substance might have, both on the food that you're eating, like do you need to eat light that day or maybe even fast the day of the journey, or what other substances might have contraindications with this drug. Other psychedelics, pharmaceuticals, and even some over-the-counter medications like allergy medications can have drug interactions with these psychedelic substances. So it is imperative to do your homework. So we have a really great resource for contraindications in the PDF from tripsit.me that is a beautiful graph that lays out the ability to track this drug with this drug, and where they meet, it lets you know what kinds of drug interactions they have with each other. So please, please, please make sure you check that out in the PDF.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the moral of this story, of course, is what we've been saying all along, the importance of doing your homework. After all, you're taking responsibility, right, as a trip sitter to keep the person safe, right? And that includes knowing ahead of time everything that you can, so you can lay a really nice foundation for a safe journey. So once you've done your homework and you're feeling confident, the next step is choosing and preparing the location, also known as the setting. And we've talked about the set being making sure that you prepared mentally and emotionally, both of you, and you're feeling confident on the day of that you're in a good space for it. The next is preparing the physical space. That includes things like their house. Is it going to be at a house or is it going to be in nature? Is the house appropriate? Is it private enough? Is it conducive to the anticipated journey? Right? If you've chosen a substance that's going to take 6, 7, 8 hours, right, and 4 hours in, the pool guy shows up.
Yeah, or the kids come home from school like 3 and you didn't take your medicine until noon, all of a sudden you're in a very precarious place.
Yeah, so again, all of this can be avoided ahead of time by just doing some homework and making sure the space is appropriate. With that, you want a space that has multiple options. Can the person lie down if they need to? Can they walk around, or are they going to feel confined? If it's an outdoor location, is it safe and does it have appropriate boundaries? What we mean by that is, can the person stay in your line of sight the entire time? Or are they going to wander off, for a mile before you figure out that they're gone? Choose an outside location that the terrain itself is physically safe and has some kind of natural boundary so the journey can unfold in, that there is a sense of being in nature, but also feels safe and somewhat contained. And does the location require any special wardrobe or supplies, relative to weather, again, or the terrain? And finally, deciding ahead of time who will be responsible for setting up the space the day of. Is it going to be a collaboration, or will the trip sitter arrive first, set up everything, and make sure that they feel comfortable with the space? These are important things for setting up the space. That all can be done in advance, or certainly early enough the day of, so that again, the journey can unfold safely and it's one less thing for you to think about.